All right, well, we're back, and I think the biggest thing, and it's the most recent thing that's happened, is that Cardinal Nation is, reeling, hurting? Rejoicing. Insert adjective here. Albert Pujols has signed a 10-year, $254 million contract with the Los Angeles Angels. Chuck?
And that's the last you're going to hear of the Los Angeles Angels.
You think that sinks their franchise?
Yeah. They
in that market, you think that sinks them?
The only thing that's going to save them is that they don't have any fucking competition in that league. They have a great pitching staff, but
it's a really good pitching staff.
But the lineup is terrible still. Even if you add Pujols, the fucking lineup is still terrible. He's surrounded by 37 fucking year olds. He's got Bobby Abreu, Vernon Wells, Torrey Hunter.
Right.
It's an old lineup. The best two young hitters they have on that team are both first basemen.
Check out what your old lady just did for us.
Howard Kendrick is a great, is good in that lineup, but he's always fucking hurt. The lineup is still awful. I don't give a shit if you add Pujols. It's still awful.
So let's talk about why Pujols went to Los Angeles.
Money.
Right.
Done.
It's
Next
money.
Topic.
Right.
Fucking.
Can you blame him?
Yeah.
You can blame him for doing it?
When you already have
the money in the bank,
you already have the money,
say, my thing is, how can you say that you can't afford to live on $19 million a year? You need $25 million a year to live.
Let's take into consideration, and he has a fucking, one of those kids with the big, huge forehead.
Right. Extra chromosome, I get you.
I wouldn't think that you would want to move that whole deal for, $3 million a year. For $3 million a year? $6 million, whatever it was?
When the best hospital in the country for kids with Down syndrome is in St. Louis. Is in St. Louis.
It's not as if Anaheim offered him $250 million and the Cardinals offered him $120 million. The Cardinals offered him $220 and the Angels offered him $254.
That's the thing I said when I heard about it was he gave us the chance to match the offer. When the Marlins came to him and said, we're going to offer you $200 million for 10 years. And he goes to the Cardinals and says, can you match that offer? And for $20 million a year for 10 years, the Cardinals said, yes, we can match that offer. And then the Angels come back and say $25.4 million on average per year.
We're like, bitch, fuck with that.
See ya.
Yeah, we're like,
bye.
Right? Yeah, no. You go ahead and take that fucking contract.
Yeah, you tip a cap to this organization as you walk out of town because St. Louis and this city and these fans are the reason you're making $25 million a year now.
Let's say you have fun with that.
Right.
Contract.
The easiest argument that we've made, and we talked about this earlier, was if you work for Burger King and you make $25,000 a year, and McDonald's calls and says, we're going to give you the same job for $55,000 a year. You take the job, right? It's an easy decision because of the money. And you don't have to come up with an excuse like because of the school system or because of my chance to win or because McDonald's puts out a better product or anything. All you got to do is say it was the money.
But that's not really relevant. You say that Farmington McDonald's is employing you for $25,000 a year, and Phoenix, Arizona, Hardee's offers you $28,000 a year. That's what we're looking at, man. Fuck him. I don't give a shit. He can go. Because you know what? And I'll be a fucking 14-year-old for a second. It bums me out to think that all he gave a fuck about the whole time was the money, man.
Right.
That's all he gives a shit about, dude.
We've had this conversation before as well. We were watching at your house Intentional Talk, which is a terrible, terrible show.
Awful.
I hate Kevin Millar.
Kevin Millar is
terrible.
The worst, dude.
All right. But at some point they mentioned that the Cardinals did not put out an autographed baseball of the World Series champions this year because they couldn't come up with the money to pay Pujols to sign.
Yeah,
and I
he
remember
would not
saying to
put
you,
his autograph on the
yes,
World Series
because usually the going rate for the superstar is like $65 per signature. You sign 1,000 times, you got $65,000, right? He wanted 80 instead, right? So they didn't come up with the money, and instead we don't have an autographed baseball of the Cardinals World Championship team. And when I saw that, I was like, if he's only about the money, then he's gone, because somebody is going to come up with it. And somebody came up with the money. There's a reason, and we've talked about this before too, there's a reason why his contract was for 10 years and $254 million.
Right.
$2 million more than Alex Rodriguez's contract that he signed back in, what was it, 2000 or 2001?
Sorry, folks, but I can't get over the fact that Chuck's Tasmanian Devil boxers that he's wore all night are completely classic.
They're not bad, are they? I have a specific Christmas suit on. Nothing but Tasmanian Devil boxers and some fucking sweatshirt that says
Part of the deal tonight was
Keezer on the front. I don't know what the fuck. It says Merry Christmas Keezer. I don't know. I got it from a
part of the
pawn
deal
shop.
tonight was an ugly Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
I was way up there. If we had a top three, I think I was at least in the top three with ugly sweaters.
Cheat.
Straight from my grandma's closet.
Yeah,
I guess we can update everybody. Like, that's something that's happened since we last did
We
the
didn't
podcast.
all have a grandma that died the last
My
couple
grandma
of
died.
weeks.
Yeah. So that happened.
And this was
yeah.
prior to me sticking my penis in her vagina.
You tried. You tried hard.
Yeah.
You were almost my step grandpa.
Yeah.
So we're okay with Albert Pujols leaving, right? I mean, it was
Not a problem,
for that
buddy.
money. He had to go somewhere else. If it was just about the money, it's the Cardinals' fault that it ever got to this point. We should have signed him a long time ago.
Yeah. That's why I said whenever Pujols just signed with the Angels, a dude that I was talking to, he works at Country Mart, but he was like, so what do we do now? I said, the first thing you do is you sign Adam Wainwright to a huge extension. You don't let it get to this point. If you have somebody that means this much to the organization, you never let it get to this point again.
Does that help?
If the Cardinals don't spend money at this point, then that's bullshit. We've been bamboozled.
We re-signed Furcal today.
Yeah.
All right. I'm happy about that. I like to have Furcal back. But
Dude, the Angels are going to release
that
Morales.
knowing that that we're going to have Wainwright this year that we didn't have last year really helps soften the blow. Because, look, there's no way you can't miss what Pujols brought to the lineup. If any Cardinal fan, I mean, look, I think we're going to be fine. I think that we're going to be successful next year. But are we going to miss that bat at number 3 in the lineup? Hell yes. How can you not? How can you
Assuming Berkman don't hit. If Berkman pulls his weight again somehow, if he puts up numbers again, we're going to be fine.
I heard it said the other day that the Cardinals are the Atlanta Braves score one more run during the regular season, and the Cardinals are wondering if we have a valid third baseman for next year.
David Freese?
His coming out party happened in the playoffs. If we don't make the playoffs, does anybody know how good David Freese can be?
True.
That's a valid point, right?
Yeah.
We're going to miss Alan Craig for the first month, maybe, of the season next year. That's going to hurt. Is John Jay going to be the everyday center fielder next year? Are we okay with that? It helps. It really, really helps soften the blow with Adam Wainwright coming back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody slots in real nice. Carpenter number 2, Garcia number 3. I'd really like to see us do something with Kyle Loesch.
I trade him?
I'd like to see us be able to move him. It would be great.
Me too.
It would be great.
Yeah, me too.
There are some we missed out on some good starting pitchers in the market this year. Would have been great to have Mark Burley now. But do we want to get do we want to get other people's opinions on Albert Pujols? Before he gets out of here, was he leaving? My God, Dick Brick is here, folks. Let him crack open a beer. Chuck, we're going to share this mic, and you can give that one up. We're going to introduce Dick Brick.
Okay.
She wants to be on MBI Mike Beef Injection. The MBI tonight.
What's she going to be on tonight?
The MBI Mike Beef Injection.
You want to do that tonight?
All right, so we're all in agreement. Albert Pujols can take his ass back out to L.A. and try to hide from the media out there. The Cardinals will be fine. We'll go to the World Series next year. And if we're lucky, we'll meet the Angels there. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to have, I guess, the Chris Sabo Power Hour presents the, we don't want to call it the Newlywed Game. We really don't have a name for it yet. We might have a name for it when we come back from break.
So you are leaving town, the one you said you loved, so I'm like, fuck you. I guess 220 million wasn't enough, so I'm like, fuck you. Fuck Larzano too. I said, if we was richer, we would still be with y'all. Now ain't that some shit? With no birds on your chest, we wish cancer on your wife's breast. So we're like, fuck you. I am sorry, you cannot afford a Ferrari. On 220 million a year. I guess you answered, when God said play Ferrari. But the way you played your fans ain't fair. I pity the fool who believes that you are 32. That nigga's at least 35. He's been here 3 decades and still can't speak the language. Come on, man. We see you in your Angels hat, giving LA a chum, and we're like, fuck you. They put more change in your pocket. I guess ours wasn't enough, so we're like, fuck you and your goatee too. Now that you are richer, take the Rams back with ya. That would be the shit. I wish cancer of your wife's breast and your kid who's a mess. So, fuck you. We all know McGuire gave you more than advice because of the pimples on your back. Your back, your back, your back. With a receding hairline like that, you look less like a 32-year-old and more like my dad. My dad, my dad. Why? Why? Why, Albert? Why, Albert? Oh. I loathe you. I still fucking loathe you. So you are leaving town, the one you said you loved, so I'm like, fuck you. I guess 220 million wasn't enough, so I'm like, fuck you. And your retard kid too. Now that you are richer, take the Rams back with ya. That would be the shit. Now we all know that Stan Musial's cock is much bigger. So take your pimpled ass out to LA. With all the other jiggas.